We heard from the White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest just a little while ago speaking on what he called the near catastrophic humanitarian situation that's happening there. A lot of religious minority groups, thousands of them, it's hard to be precise on a number, fleeing the northern part of Iraq, and many of whom are stuck on top of a mountain because of the militant organization called ISIS. Jim Sciutto, our chief national security correspondent, let me bring you in because I was just talking to Jim Acosta from the White House, and he was really trying to press Josh Earnest on, White House also talking about weighing possible military options, but was not specific, would not, put airstrikes on the table. You have some information on this. Go ahead.
Well, Brooke, we can now report that the Obama administration is considering U.S. airstrikes in Iraq. This is from a U.S. official. This U.S. official also tells me that strikes are something the administration had been considering for some time, and the latest developments in Iraq might now meet that threshold. So not decided yet, but something that is very much on the table. What are those latest developments that might have changed the calculus here? One, you referenced, Brooke, the situation of this religious minority, the Yazidis, tens of thousands of them stuck on a hilltop in Iraq under threat of a massacre. That is one. But also ISIS's advance and holding of territory in Iraq. We learned today that ISIS has again taken over the key Mosul dam. This supplies electricity to the city of Mosul, which has become, in effect, the capital of its Islamic Caliphate in Iraq. Because of that advance, because of the threats to the Yazidis, that now has the administration considering these airstrikes on Iraq now, Brooke. And I can also tell you this, that the administration is considering a number of options. One of them is the airdrop of humanitarian aid to the Yazidis, because as they are under threat of a massacre from ISIS forces that are now surrounding them in northern Iraq, they're also starving to death. They don't have any water. They're considering an aid drop. And, Brooke, they're also considering the possibility of how they would open up a humanitarian corridor, in effect, to get the Yazidis from this one oasis of safety they've found to safer ground in Kurdish-control areas in the north of Iraq. So you have a lot of steps the administration is taking, but this is a measurable step forward here, Brooke, for the administration to be considering now U.S. airstrikes in Iraq, something that, as you know, the president had said he would not do just a few months ago.
Yeah, and Josh Earnest at the White House just a little while ago was very clear, saying, listen, these problems, these Iraqi problems, they are problems that the Iraqis need to solve. These are not problems that the Americans would solve. Since this is new information just eking out, thanks to you and your sources, I'm going to guess that we have no idea as far as a timetable, be it the humanitarian airdrops or possible airstrikes.
We don't. I would say humanitarian airdrops more immediate. There is an immediate need there, and they're looking at steps to establish this humanitarian corridor. There is no time frame on airstrikes, so on U.S. airstrikes, if the president decides to go ahead and exercise this option, and that's what it is now, an option. But I'll tell you, the developments are moving very quickly on the ground in Iraq. It is one, ISIS is advanced. They've taken over this power plant, this dam, this key dam near Mosul. But in addition, you have, thousands of Yazidis under threat of death now. And Brooke, you and I have talked about this before. We've seen what ISIS can do when it is left to its own devices. It slaughters innocents. It hesitates. It does not hesitate at all. And it's that urgency that may have put airstrikes to pass this threshold, in effect, for ordering such airstrikes in reaction to this.
Let's stay in close contact. You keep that phone close by, and as soon as you get new information, as this is fast moving, just hop back on TV and we'll get you on the show, because we want to make sure we get the freshest information out there. Jim, thank you.
Will do.
Let's talk now about the breaking news out of eastern Ukraine.